Welcome again. Good to be with you. What's today? Thursday? Thursday morning, the 30th of October. Commissioner Mike Chaney from the Mississippi Insurance Department, also the state fire marshal, didn't get the memo that Halloween is tomorrow. You could have dressed up and worn a Halloween costume and really stood out this morning.
Richard, I think I'm scary enough as it is. You know, when you open your bill and you get a premium increase, and the bill, they think it's Halloween every day.
You know, there are some politicians that think you're a little scary.
Well, you know, you take the politicians on sometime if you don't agree with them, and that's just part of what we have to do.
That is how it goes. People are talking about mitigation. It's something that you say is an incredibly important issue. But I think before we kind of walk down that road, there's some people that either need a reminder or a quick lesson on what we're talking about, especially in the southern part of the state when we talk about insurance mitigation.
So mitigation is not complicated. It's simply saying that you reduce the risk to a homeowner.
Okay.
And mitigation simply means that you go out and you put a stronger roof on, or you put a membrane down before you put the shingles on that will keep water from penetrating through the plywood seams because you tape them. It's not complicated. It sounds complicated, but it's not. And what you do when you mitigate a home, you tie that roof down to the walls and down to the foundation so it doesn't blow off easily.
Sure.
You can probably withstand, say, 140 mile an hour wind. But if the shingles blow off, you still have a waterproof membrane between that roof and the living area that you're in. So you got a house to come back to. And the second thing it does, it reduces the risk that insurance companies have to charge a premium for, and it reduces your win rates by 20 to 40%. Now, Alabama started a program in 2016. They've got about 60,000 homes mitigated. In South Alabama, they're now moving the program north. And what's happening with them, they have mandated discounts. Mm-hmm. They are seeing 20 to 40% discounts on insurance. And what happens on the Gulf Coast, for an example, in Jackson County, where a lot of people work at Chevron and Ingalls, they're living in Alabama because the insurance rates are cheaper. Mm. And the difference between the rates in Alabama and Mississippi are enough to afford to drive back and forth 20, 30 miles. So that's it in a nutshell.
So who is it insurance companies that are pushing back on this? Because obviously residents want it. They want to see their premiums go down. They want to see less money out of their pockets. So what's the holdup on getting to this point?
So it's a combination of a lot of factors. We've had a mitigation statute since 2007 when I was in the legislature. And to get it passed, we even got a guy named, you may not remember him, Steve Holland.
I do.
From Duplo. He was the author of the mitigation plan that we passed in 2007.
Okay.
And the reason we did that was, and I was in the Senate, is we needed Democrat support to pass a mitigation plan. We passed it, and we never did get it properly funded. And now I'm the insurance commissioner. I've been working on it for 18 years to try to get it funded. So tough program.
Counterpoint, I think some of your colleagues would say, hey, there was money in place for you to get this rolling and get it off the ground, and you haven't done that. What would be your response, or maybe why?
Well, they're gaslighting.
Okay.
Gaslighting simply means that they're trying to blame somebody else for their inept and inability to do something, or they're not doing what they should have done.
I knew I'd get you going.
So you got me cranked up.
All right.
If that was your intent, you've done that.
I really wasn't.
Richard, here's the deal.
So why are they saying that, and you're saying, no, it's actually their responsibility?
Because we didn't get funding until 2024 on July the 1st. And when you get funding, we got a $5 million set aside in special funds. We went and found the money and said, legislature, here's $5 million out of surplus line stamping fees that we can use for mitigation.
Okay.
We need the authority to spend it and do the mitigation program. And it's going to take time to set it up. So from July 1 to January the 1st of this year, it takes 90 days to do an RFP. The legislature put that in the requirements of the bill. It took us 90 days to get the database done, so we had about 6 months that we had to get all the things in place to do.
So that gets you almost to the first of the year.
First of the year, so the second week in January, we started the mitigation. I had to find contractors that were trained and certified. This is a little more complicated than it sounds.
How far does $5 million go?
It'll do, $5 million would do, if you just think about a $10,000 grant per house, you can do 500 houses real easy.
Okay. And, is that enough to bring an insurance rate
No,
in?
that's the start of it. And then we had a bill that would make the insurance companies pony up the money to do the mitigation, not taxpayer dollars, just the insurance companies. And that's one of the factors that help kill it. They'll tell you they're for mitigation because it reduces their risk, but they don't want to have to pay. The premium income is reduced. The agents get less money on the commission.
Yeah.
And our administrative costs are very low if the department runs the program, and the reason the department, we don't care about who actually runs the program. We just want to control the money because we're not going to pay the contractors unless the work's done right.
Right.
And every state except for North Carolina has a semi-government agency that runs theirs, but all the states like Louisiana and Alabama and even South Carolina control the money so they make certain the work's done correctly.
I'm thinking about a parallel to health care here. I mean, it's preventative care.
It is preventative care. And it's preventative to the fact that you got a home to come back to after you have a wind event. It won't save a house necessarily during tornadoes because tornadoes are very narrow in scope.
Yeah, different.
They're not wide. They're different from a hurricane. But think about in Jamaica, the houses that have survived this 185-mile-an-hour wind are going to end up being concrete homes that are mitigated like we do in Puerto Rico and the Virgin Islands, or they're going to be homes that have been built to the fortified standard, IBHS as we call it.
And they may not survive even then.
That's a tough deal, and we don't. That's another issue that we deal as first responders through the department with firefighters and et cetera. We work very closely with MEMA because we got to know what the damage is on the ground. And we normally can tell you the damage on the ground from a tornado within a couple of hours after it happens. Working with me, when we have something called crisis tracker, or tracker, or whatever. It's early in the morning, Richard.
You might have to get on a tractor to go in and do some of that evaluating. Yeah, no doubt. I should know the answer to this. I don't. I think I know the answer. Health insurance falls under your office as well, right?
We regulate,
at least in part?
Yeah, in part. We regulate individual rates. We do not regulate self-funded rates. We do not regulate large groups or small groups below or above 100.
Yeah.
So what we have to do is implement and make certain insurances available. Federal law says we can't sell a product on the ACA unless we got doctors or what we call networks that can service the person that owns the policy. It's like buying a car and putting it in your garage and never using it. That's what you would be like if you didn't have a hospital or a doctor to go see.
Right. What's your level of concern right now with kind of the state of the healthcare industry in Mississippi?
Well, we've got, I was just talking
I know it's a pretty broad question.
It's a broad question, but I was talking to Lex Taylor just a few minutes ago. Lex is a long-time friend, former head of MEC here,
right.
Taylor Machine out of Louisville, and he said he finally read the big, beautiful bill, and there's a lot of money in there for the state of Mississippi for rural hospitals. They're the ones that are really in trouble. We have a healthcare desert in the Delta, and the issue is complicated to the fact that we have to set the rates or approve the rates. And it's been a tough one this year for us because average rate increase, and you'll hear me say this today, is 40.9%. So when you sit and look at a family of, say, two people at 400% of the property level, that's about $85,000. And say my wife and I are two people because we're empty nesters.
Right.
We're grandkids. So we would not qualify for any ACA benefits, not that we want them. And we would pay somewhere, if we didn't have other insurance from the state, we would pay somewhere close to $20,000 a year. Now, that's for health.
Medicare.
No, say I wasn't on Medicare.
Okay.
We would pay $20,000 a year just to have health insurance. Yesterday at a hearing at the Senate that we win, we've got a hearing looking at health care. That cost, according to one of the insurance companies, will be like $30,000 for a family of four, and making $65,000 a year. You can't afford that, Richard.
I don't know how you make the math work.
You can't make that work, and people are going to drop the insurance. So you're going to have about 250,000 people in the state that have no insurance, and they've got to go to the hospitals for uncompensated care. And it's just...
And in that vicious circle, that means those of us who pay for insurance, your rates are going to go up again to help cover those that are uninsured.
You're correct. So
what's the solution?
I will say I don't have the solution, but I will say that the middle class can't keep paying all of this out. Well, you know who gets taxed to pay for all the health care on Medicare and Medicaid? On Medicare, we pay 2.9% of our salaries, either employee or individuals, to fund Medicare.
That's right.
The Biden administration and the Obama administration took most of that money to fund the ACA. So they almost killed the thing for people over 65.
But by all means, we need to make sure that these subsidies are in place to cover all of the.
Now that's a question.
Things.
You know, I get asked that all the time. Are you for the tax credits? I am if it keeps the Republicans in power. But I will tell you, we can't continue down the road of giving everybody everything they want free. The government cannot do that.
And there are people that want to criticize political decisions, but sometimes political decisions have to be made. Otherwise, you end up with the other side in office, which ends up being worse. We are unfortunately out of time. Good visiting with you.
Good visiting. Always a pleasure, Reggie. You're a great American. Appreciate you.
Thank you. Great American. I will take that. Insurance Commissioner Mike Chaney. We're back with you right after this. Mornings with Richard Cross. We'll wrap it up next.